If you've been grinding coal and you're finally close to buying that next premium ship, stop for just a moment. In this video, I'm going to save you months of grinding by breaking down 5 coal ships that look tempting on paper, but are absolute traps in practice. Let's make sure you don't waste your hard-earned coal. Hey everyone, it's Normal Guy of the North. Let's dive in. Before we talk about the ships themselves, here's how I define a bad coal purchase. First, value. How much performance or fun you get compared to other ships you could have bought instead. Second, reliability. How consistently the ship performs without needing a perfect team, perfect map, or perfect setup. And third, skill tax. How punishing the ship is when you make a single mistake. If a ship is fragile, short-ranged, or requires constant perfection to work, that's not a smart use of your coal. Number 5, Flint, Tier 7 U.S. light cruiser. Flint is a premium American light cruiser modeled after the Atlanta-class hull. On paper, it looks like a dream. Rapid-fire 127mm guns, torpedoes, American smoke, and some of the best AA in her tier. But in reality, the Flint has become one of the most frustrating and disappointing ships in the entire Armory. Key stats, hit points, around 26,600, very low for a Tier 7 cruiser. Armor, 13mm plating, easily overmatched by almost everything. Main battery, 12 by 127mm guns and 6 twin turrets, with an 11.76 rate of fire and a 12.4 kilometer maximum range. Torpedoes, quad launchers with a 9.2 kilometer range, dealing about 16,600 damage. Speed, roughly 32.5 knots with 10.6 kilometer surface concealment. Consumables, long duration US smoke, 20 seconds emission, 240 seconds reload, and unlimited defensive AA fire. Now, before I break down our current problems, I want to share a bit of personal history. Flint was my first steel ship, and I loved her. She was my pride and joy, a true reward for the grind. But just a few months later, Wargaming released her for coal. That alone stung a little. But what really ruined the ship for me was what they did next. Originally, Flint and her sister ship Atlanta had a base gun range of 11.1 kilometers, but you could extend it to 13.3 kilometers using the range module and commander skills. That build was affectionately known as a Hot Atlanta, and it was fantastic. You could do the same thing on Flint, and in the right hands, like yours truly, it was an absolute blast to play. Flint was once an overpowered little monster. She could rain shells from safety, punish destroyers, and light up anything that pushed into your radar or smoke cover. She had flaws, sure, but with that extra range, a skilled player could overcome them. Then, Wargaming decided she was too strong. They took away the ability to extend her range and dropped it all the way down to 11.1 kilometers, locking her into knife fight distance, and that change gutted her. Suddenly, Tier 5's and Tier 6's destroyers could outgun Flint purely on range. Imagine playing a premium Tier 7 cruiser that's supposed to dominate destroyers, only to get kited by them because their guns reach farther than yours. Later, Wargaming fixed it by nudging her up to 12.4 kilometers, but that's still short. When you're up-tiered against Tier 8s or Tier 9s, even destroyers can sit comfortably outside your reach and farm you. That loss of 900 meters of potential range might not sound like much, but in practice, it's the difference between a strong cruiser and a ship that simply sucks in PvP. What was once a great, rewarding, high-skill ship has now been reduced to a frustrating relic of what it used to be. Flint went from being the star of the Armory to a ship I almost never touch anymore, and that's the tragedy of Flint. Her design isn't bad. Her potential was just stripped away. Verdict. If you're an island-hugging AA specialist and you love high-skill micromanagement, you might still squeeze fun out of her. But for most players, she's too fragile, too short-ranged, and too dependent on specific maps. A shadow of her former self. Flint just isn't worth it anymore. Number 4, Z-44, Tier 9 German destroyer. Z-44 is a German destroyer that promises long-range torpedoes and fast reloads. But underneath that, it's missing everything that makes German destroyers great. Key stats, hit points, 19,400. Main battery, 5 times 128mm guns with a 4.2 second reload, weak DPM for its tier. Torpedoes, 10 tubes and 2 quintuple launchers, 12 kilometer range, 85 second reload, and about 13,700 damage per hit. Speed, 36.5 knots with concealment, around 7.3 kilometers base or 6.1 kilometers fully built. Consumables, German smoke and engine boost, no hydroacoustic search. The problem is simple. German destroyers are known for hydro, gunpowder, and cap control. Z-44 gives up all of that for slightly faster, longer-range torps that don't hit hard enough to justify the trade. Without hydro, you're blind in cap fights and can't challenge other destroyers. The result is a ship that has no real role. You're too fragile for knife fights, too limited for spotting, and too inconsistent for torpedo ambushes. You can make it work, but only with extremely passive, one-dimensional play. Verdict: if you enjoy long-range torp spamming and low-risk play, it can be entertaining. Otherwise, Z-44 is a frustrating ship that doesn't know what it wants to be. Number 3, Carnot, Tier 9 French supercruiser. Carnot looks like a dream. Massive 305mm guns, high speed, and French flavor, but it's one of those ships that feels great in port and underwhelming in battle. Key stats: hit points, 66,450. Main battery, 10 times 305mm guns and 2 triple and 1 quad turret with a 25-second reload, 22 seconds with upgrades. Range, 18.6 kilometers with 2.05 sigma accuracy. Speed, 34.5 knots up to 36 with flags. Concealment, 14.8 kilometers surface detection, one of the worst for Tier 9 cruisers. Consumables, hydroacoustic search and engine boost. No torpedoes. Carnot's long reload and high detectability mean you're trading punches less often and taking more damage in return. Fires burn for 60 seconds, just like on battleships, so every hit hurts. You don't have the armor to tank, the concealment to sneak, or the tools to deter close-range pushes, and without torpedoes, you have no answer when someone charges you. Sure, the guns are accurate, but in randoms, players angle and maneuver constantly. That accuracy doesn't save you when you're out-traded over and over again. Verdict: Carnot is the definition of a looks good, plays bad ship. She's a collector's cruiser, not a carry ship. Number 2, Neustrashimy, Tier 9 Soviet destroyer. Neustrashimy used to be a rare trophy ship, but in modern randoms, it's simply underwhelming. Key stats: hit points, 20,500. Main battery, 4 130mm guns and 2 turrets. Torpedoes, 10-kilometer range, 125-second reload, around 17,900 damage. Speed, 36 knots. Concealment, 6.9 kilometer surface. Consumables, specialized repair teams, super heal, smoke, and engine boost. It has great stealth and an incredible heal, but only 4 guns. That means your damage output is extremely limited, and losing a single turret cuts your effectiveness in half. The 10-kilometer torpedoes force you into dangerous radar zones, and with such long reloads, you can't rely on them as your main weapon. The ship's survivability is great, but its lethality isn't. You'll live a long time, but contribute very little unless the enemy actively throws. It's a frustrating experience in a meta that rewards proactive play. Verdict: a unique and interesting ship, but it's too passive and too underpowered for the average player. Pick something that lets you dictate the fight, not just endure it. Number 1, Brisbane, Tier 10 Commonwealth light cruiser. Brisbane is a Tier 10 light cruiser based on the British Minotaur hull, featuring both HE and AP shells, radar, and a formidable torpedo armament. On paper, she sounds like the perfect blend of utility and firepower, but in practice, she's an incredibly unforgiving ship that punishes even the smallest mistake. Her lack of smoke and paper-thin armor make her one of the easiest Tier 10s in the entire game to kill, especially from across the map by battleships. Key stats: hit points, 43,300. Main battery, 10 times 152mm guns and 5 twin turrets with a 5.0 second reload. Range, 15.9 kilometers. Torpedoes, 13.5 kilometers range, 10 tubes total, 5 per side, 16,767 damage. Speed, 33.5 knots. Concealment, 9.8 kilometer surface, fully upgraded. Consumables: damage control party, specialized repair teams, hydroacoustic search, and 12-kilometer surveillance radar. Brisbane's gameplay is all about timing and positioning. She can unleash rapid, consistent volleys of HE to set fires or switch to AP to punish broadside targets, but her survivability is razor thin. Her 16mm hull plating and high citadel sit well above the waterline, making her vulnerable to overmatch and citadel hits from nearly every large caliber gun in the game. A single battleship salvo, even from 20 kilometers away, can instantly delete her. Her radar and hydro give her strong anti-destroyer capability, and her specialized repair team's consumable can recover a large chunk of HP. However, without a smoke generator, unlike her sister ship Minotaur, she has no reliable way to disengage once spotted. Her HE flexibility is useful, and her torpedoes are deadly when set up correctly, but both require perfect map awareness to use safely. Verdict: Brisbane is a powerful yet punishing ship. She rewards expert positioning, map knowledge, and restraint, but offers almost no forgiveness for errors. In the right hands, she's lethal. In average hands, she's a floating citadel waiting to explode. For most players, there are safer, more dependable coal ships to invest in. Rapid fire recap. Here's the short version: Flint, Once great, now ruined by range nerfs and power creep. Z44, long torps, no hydro, no real roll. Carnot, big guns, long reload, high detectability, and no staying power. Neustrashimy, strong heal, low impact. Brisbane, high skill light cruiser that's easy to die in, hard to master. What to look for? Instead, when picking coal ships, go for utility, forgiveness, and consistency. Ships with radar or hydro always bring value to the team. Ships with armor or heals let you stay in the fight. And ships that don't rely on the perfect map or matchmaking will keep paying off long after you buy them. If you'd like me to cover the top 5 coal ships worth buying in 2025, let me know in the comments. I'll make that the next video. Final thoughts. Coal is the slowest, most valuable currency in World of Warships. You grind for months to earn it, so every ship you buy should feel rewarding, not like a regret. Don't waste it on fragile, limited, or outdated ships that can't handle the modern meta. Invest in something that gives you reliability and joy every time you play. If this video helped you avoid a bad purchase, hit like and share your own coal regrets or success stories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I really do appreciate it. And please feel free to click on the videos on your screen for more World of Warships content. But as always, take care, stay safe, and I wish you all the best. See you in the next one, and bye for now.